Hello, Trekkers, and welcome back to episode 3 of Star Trek The Next Generation, a final Unity playthrough. It's a retro game with your friend the Duke, and we are here on Marasia with the big ape lady with a rib cage full of fruit and a giant Christmas turkey that can talk. Now, apparently, these apes they're pretty damn misandrist, to be honest. So Captain Picard has been completely ignored because he's an authority figure who's male. Worf fancies his chances against this big behemoth, even though he can't fight his way out of a paper bag. The only one that could take her on really would be Data there. And we have Troy, so we're going to try and use Troy to manipulate the misandrist, which is a fun merriment at the Yuletide. Let's go. Without further ado, let's solve this mystery. Talk to Ape Lady, Counselor Troy.
I'm Counselor Deanna Troy of the Enterprise. I'm investigating the disappearance of Dr. Hun Forsh.
Welcome to Marasia. As I told Admiral Redrick, I really don't think Dr. Hunforsh is in any danger. She's probably on an extended field trip.
I'm drinking the wine, by the way. Pour him if you got him. Everyone, pour him if you got him. It's red wine this time, not the mulled wine. Had my headphones on backwards there, so sorry about that. Thank you for your time. Who saw the doctor last? Yeah.
Who saw the doctor last?
Apparently, Consultant Idia was the last to see her. They had dinner or some such. It's all in my report. You should be able to access it through your tricorder.
Consultant Idiot. Okay. Thank you for your time. Is it possible the doctor might have injured? Yeah.
Is it possible the doctor might have injured herself somewhere in the preserve?
Of course. But our surveillance system can detect signs of distress in any of our inhabitants. And we've had no sign of trouble from the doctor.
You don't like the doctor very much.
You don't like the doctor very much, do you?
She hasn't made many friends here. She disagrees openly with our philosophy, our methods, and has even accused us of smuggling banned species.
I'd like to examine the preserve grounds where she was last working.
We'd prefer to limit the number of outsiders in the preserve while it is under construction. Investigating the doctor's laboratory should be sufficient.
It's important that we retrace the doctor's steps exactly. And besides, the Federation has requested an update on Marasia for your membership petition. If you let us into the preserve, we can make a more detailed report.
The Federation's requests are not law here. Not yet. But in the interests of cooperation, I'll open up the area surrounding my outpost. Be sure to stay within the visitors' areas. You must understand, my responsibility to the animals comes first.
You are
I'd
an
like
animal.
to see the doctor's quarters.
Of course. Her laboratory quarters are at the end of the path towards the mountains.
Constable Lixie seems less than enamored with the Federation.
Yeah, let's go over here where we have a bit of privacy. Captain, please talk to Counselor.
I'd like to see what Dr. Hun Forsh was doing in her lab before she disappeared.
Alright, Dr. Hunforsh. Mr. Data.
The doctor's disappearance may be related to her research. Perhaps we should examine her laboratory.
Mr. Worf.
We should search for Dr. Hunforsh's lab.
Mr. Data, try communicate with the turkey.
Visitors for Constable Lixie. Constable Lixie is present.
I didn't expect that.
This basket holds fruit, roots, and larvae for the constable's veranda bird. Marasians typically use the bones of the dead to make useful objects.
Let's get a tricorder reading on her.
Constable Lixie is a Marasian of the Euclean species.
Yeah,
she oversees the
noticed.
preserve and reports directly to the planetary government.
Okay, You ignore. Right, Councillor Troy has softened up the big ape here, so we're going to go into the preserve. Oh, wow. Look at this feller. Ada, can you get a scan on that guy?
I do not believe that will work.
Oh, he's too far away.
I do not believe that will work.
Okay, then we're coming up this way first, I reckon. Ada, lead the way, please. Actually, you go here. Picard, there. Troy, there. Worf, you bring up the rear. And try not to get in the way. Holy smoke. Oh. That wasn't pleasant, but awesome. Boy, was that awesome. Okay, we go back to data.
The atoll fruit is considered to be a Morassian delicacy.
Now can you give me a tricorder
I
reading?
do not believe that will work.
Okay, then just look.
It appears to be hungry.
Data, give this to the monkey. That was a nice thing to do, Data, don't you think? Alright, now we're gonna have to have a look here. Constable's office.
No unusual readings.
There's a laboratory over there. What's this thing here? I can't get a reading on that. Okay, so we'll move on. Ah, alright. Sorry, Worf. No need for your macro brain yet.
Biotopes to accurately direct the
Micro
field
brain.
units. However, the biotope computer may contain the necessary information.
Macro head, micro brain. Isn't that what Q call them? Look at caverns.
We do not know enough about the biotopes to accurately direct the field units. However, the biotope computer may contain the necessary information. No unusual readings.
Can we use this?
I do not believe that will work.
No. Okay. Yeah, let's say it. I totally meant that. Okay, let's, there used to be a way to speed it up. I don't know how to do that. I'll have to look that up. No controls here, either. Okay, I'm just gonna figure it out as we go. That's what happened last time. Oh, there you go, shift. You press shift and he flies along. It's like a time shift. We'll go this way then. Come on. The bog forest biotope. Sorry. Ooh, that's an ugly little beggar. Mr. Data, makes sense of that.
Intriguing.
No, that's not good enough.
Intriguing.
What is that? Mr. Worf. What do you think?
It is a skull. Nice touch.
That's a much better appraisal than Data. Data is like this intriguing.
Fascinating. It did not work.
Data, what's your technical expertise
This
here?
port can accommodate an external power source to run the kiosk.
Okay.
These Derwin and Grotke trees appear to be thriving. The preserve clearly uses excellent soil management techniques. We do not know enough about the biotopes to accurately direct the field units.
Okay,
However, the
so...
biotope computer may contain the necessary information.
Okay, boys and girls, we need something to power this, so let's go find it. Shuttle dock. Okay, we can go to Shuttle Bay from here. Let's go to Shuttle Bay. Lovely painting. I think this is digital art back in the day. Aha! Look at what we have here, Mr. Data. Can you confirm what my peepers are seeing?
The micro-generator uses thermal energy to replenish its internal power source. This cargo shuttle is powered by two 2,250 millicochran warp engines.
Okay, can we get in there? No. Data, take the micro generator. And let's just have a look around, see if it...
The preserve is one of the largest protected biospheres in existence. Its total area rivals the Ferguson Desert habitat on Betco 7.
The range of environments represented in this preserve is simply amazing.
It's a shuttle.
That's a blunt...
Everything in the preserve is beautiful and peaceful. It's quite an accomplishment.
You should take a walk in St. Anne's Park.
A magnificent sight. I must bring Alexander here someday.
No way, you
Would
mentioned...
enjoy it.
You mentioned Alexander. Awesome.
It is a Welland cargo shuttle.
Okay, fascinating. Right, we're heading back. It's pretty tricky with this mouse. Can we go this way? No, it's the atoll tree. Quarantine shelter. Let's head. Oh, that's a little warm. I know, I'm tempted to hit the space or the shift key and speed it up, but that's cheating, alright? Remember what I said about attention spans in the last episode? So don't be one of those numpties. By the way, hello to 3 subscribers since the last episode went up. 3 of you. I hope you're trekkers. I think yous are, because you subscribed. You subscribed because of that. But welcome to the party, pal. I have a little bit of a tickle in my throat. Not enough alcohol, I believe. Okay, Mr. Data, I need your technical... Oh, we should have LaForge with us. A harmonic collector.
The harmonic collector operates on the same principle as the Bussard ram scoop collector. Its purpose, however, is to reconfigure sound waves. I am receiving readings of unusually high ionic residue. These generators create a network of force field segments to form separate containment areas.
Looks like we can go around and down, but I don't see the point and purpose yet, because our control panels are here, and I'm not seeing anything that we can't get to from here. Okay, Data, praise.
This panel controls access to the quarantine area. The gates open automatically in the event of a power failure.
Interesting.
This is the harmonic collector control. The collector has been set to emit a brief high-energy pulse.
Yeah.
This panel controls the containment field. The field is centered on the harmonic collector.
Interesting. Mr. Worf, what do you think?
The harmonic collector absorbs sounds. These are the generators for the individual containment fields. This cage was opened from the inside by a creature of impressive strength.
Man, it's so true. Like, you can tell it's actually the people on the writing team for Star Trek The Next Generation who wrote all this. And, you know, it's fully voiced by the whole cast here. Really cool. Let's see what Captain Picard thinks.
This looks like a harmonic collector. It absorbs sound waves to minimize noise. These generators create force fields which separate the quarantined animals.
It appears this cage was unable to hold its last occupant.
Yeah, talk to Worf.
We should search for Dr. Hoonforsh's lab.
The doctor's disappearance may be related to her research. Perhaps we should examine her laboratory.
A valid theory. You,
I'd
Counselor?
like to see what Dr. Hyun Forsh was doing in her lab before she disappeared.
Okay, everybody, our merry troop, we will head to find Dr. Hoonforsh. That's another biotope. So we won't go there yet. We'll head back. This really is nice and relaxing here on this planet. Now, that's the laboratory, so we're heading out there. Let's go, everyone. Don't be a slow coach there, Captain Picard. Okay. Interesting, we've got a collection of dead creatures here. We've got some kind of hovering droids here. We've got another hollow table, it looks like. We've got some strange canister. Let me just fiddle around with the keys here, because I remember I could do the keys. Was it? Oh yeah, there we go. No. I remember you could change the keys for the actions. That doesn't matter. Look, it's right here. Okay, Mr. Data. Okay, Mr. Data, front and center, please. I want you down here. Right there beside the dead animals in this machine here. Hope that's not a cavity machine. Counselor Troy, I want you here. Mr. Worf, I want you watching those droids, and Captain Picard, I want you down front and center. Data, you go back. Data, back there, I want you there. Okay, Worf, you keep an eye on those fellows. I don't know what they're doing. Data, let the examination begin.
It is possible that this animal is an Akana boar from the planet Jervis.
The big brain on campus, Lieutenant Commander Data.
This paramammalian species has been cryogenically preserved for medical analysis.
Okay, and what about the other one?
The insectivore is possibly a member of the Talpidae family.
Sonic scope.
It is a sonic scope. It uses acoustic resonances to analyze molecular structures.
Interesting. Oh, yeah, I got this drag. I was just pouring wine there, boys. Can't check that, can't check that. It's a hollow table. A bio table.
The biotable incorporates bioassay hardware to analyze specimens and perform scans.
Okay, what's the sensor array? Really? Not gonna tell me anything at all? Okay, have a look.
The overhead sensor array conducts molecular and biospectral analysis. It projects holographic images of a specimen or scan.
Okay, so a hologram. So it is a hollow table. What's this, Data?
The bioprobe analyzes samples that a field unit collects from specimens. It is used primarily for zoological analysis.
These are the field units then. Yeah, field units D.
The field unit is configured for a specific terrain and climate. It monitors the conditions of animals who have been injected with identification microchips.
Interesting. A picture is forming. Commander Data. You head down here. Actually, take that while you're at
I
it.
do not believe that
No.
will work.
No, not that. Wire probe, yeah. Excellent. Back here now. Okay, what else are we looking at? Yeah, we got that. Look at piping.
Dr. Hundforsch has maintained an excellent laboratory. All of her equipment is highly advanced. The computer is a Birkin 400K model from Arguello 9. The system is accessed by voice print or password.
Voice print or password. What about this here? COM
This
port.
port provides tricorder access to computer and communication systems.
Commander Data, I want you to access that COM port.
A massive computer fragmentation has erased the doctor's files.
Suspect? That's very
The only
suspect.
salvageable message from her daily log is sessions with Tracker Melas cancelled. Schedule again
Melas.
after field trip.
Hold on. Tracker Melas.
Open a channel to Tracker Melas.
Channels open.
I'm Lieutenant Commander Data of the Starship Enterprise. I'm investigating the absence of Dr. Hundforsch.
Looks like Odo.
Greetings. I doubt that she is in any danger. She's probably just taking a vacation after her blow-up with Constable Lixie.
Pardon me? We found your name in the doctor's laboratory. What is your relationship with her?
We found your name in the doctor's laboratory. What is your relationship with her?
I teach her territorial recognition. At least I did. We suspended our lessons after the power outages began. I haven't seen her since, but I doubt she's lost. Such an excellent tracker, even if she is a bit weak in the nose.
If Emily's watching that, she would have a question. Weak in the nose, Emily. You mentioned power outages. Can you describe them in greater detail? This blow-up you mentioned, do you mean the constable and the doctor had an argument? Yeah, we'll ask that first.
This blow-up you mentioned. Do you mean the constable and the doctor had an argument?
Dr. Hundforsch discovered that several animals from Aramut's second shipment were illegal species which had been mistagged. I think she accused the constable of smuggling, but I'm not sure. Healer Zolas told me the story.
Healer Zolas. Yeah, we'll go with the Watchers.
What exactly are the Watchers' responsibilities?
The Watchers feed and care for the preserved species.
Smuggling is a serious... Yeah.
Smuggling is a serious offense. It would certainly jeopardize the acceptance of Morasia into the Federation.
That's why she thought Constable Lixie might be involved, to thwart Federation entry.
Big political pressure. You mentioned power outages. Can you describe them in greater
You
detail?
mentioned power outages. Can you describe them in greater detail?
A power surge at our quarantine shelter destroyed some of the generators. 2 Watchers were seriously injured and several animals escaped.
The Watchers.
Since then, we've had outages in the biotopes. They're still under investigation.
What about the generator? Yeah, go ahead, Data.
Without the generator, the individual containment fields in the shelter will not function. You would no longer be able to quarantine any animals for analysis or adaptation.
That's right. Most of our personnel are out searching for escaped animals right now. Dr. Hundforsch might be doing that on her own.
I have some questions regarding several animal carcasses which we found in the doctor's laboratory.
Of course.
Dr. Hundforsch was examining these carcasses for a reason. I suggest we perform biological and sonic scans on the carcasses ourselves.
I wish you well on your search.
Very good. Okay, Data. Thanks for the clue, pal. Right, maybe we take the carcasses first. Right, they're all scooped up. No problem for you, good buddy. You're like Superman. I know there's a shortcut, a hotkey to switch between these, but I'm just gonna click them. I can't remember. This is for the field units, he said, right? So we take this big baboon here and we stick that baboon there. No, not happening. Oh yeah, there we go.
Diagnostic tests and cell density analysis complete. All readings are normal.
Normal? Okay, what's that, insectivore?
Diagnostic tests and cell density analysis complete. Subject's neural pathways have been drained of electrical energy.
Neural pathways drained of electrical energy, hey? We have a mental vampire on our hands.
Diagnostic tests and cell density analysis complete. Subject's genetic signature differs from its identification tag. Subject is in a carnivore.
Well done, Data. You called it. No, come back here. There we go. Okay. So we've done our tests. We're done with these then, aren't we?
I see no way of using this with that object.
Alright, just checking. Right there, you put that one back there, and you put this one there, and you put that one there.
I see no way of using this with that object.
Well, put that one there then. Okay, let's use the computer.
That will work.
Well, you can't use the computer. Comport, let's...
Open a channel to Healer Zolas.
Channels to Healer Zolas are closed at this time.
Okay, Captain. I need you out of the way, my friend. Counselor! Out where we can see you. Under Data. Grower Anango.
Channel to Grower Anango.
Channels to Grower Anango are closed indefinitely.
Very suspect. We're getting the boom rush here. Tracker Melas.
Channel to Tracker Melas.
Channels open.
Yeah, there we go.
I have some questions regarding several animal carcasses which we found in the doctor's laboratory.
Of course.
Dr. Humforce was examining these carcasses.
Dr. Humforce was examining these carcasses for a reason. I suggest we perform biological and sonic scans
we already
on the
said
carcasses
that.
ourselves.
I wish you well on your search.
No! Oh, God.
Open a channel to Tracker Melas.
That's what happens when you make the wrong decisions, everybody. Yeah.
I have some questions regarding several
no,
animal
I don't get
carcasses which we found in the doctor's laboratory.
Of course.
There we go. Yeah, it's alright. Don't panic.
The boar's identity tag is incorrect. It is actually an Akana boar, a close genetic relative of the Frednorian. However, Akana are banned for import. How did this animal get into the preserve?
That's one of the new arrivals from the second shipment. Maybe there was an error. You know, we've had a number of minor problems with creatures from that shipment.
Thank you for your time.
I wish you well on your search.
Smuggling protected species is a serious violation of Federation law. If that has happened, it would seriously endanger Marassia's petition for membership.
It's possible the constable felt that telling us about her argument with the doctor would arouse our suspicions. But why would she withhold information about the escapes?
Interesting. Maybe she didn't. Maybe she was questioning it, and that's why she's missing. What does Worf think?
There must be something unusual about these carcasses, or the doctor would not have kept them. I recommend full biological and sonic scans.
I think we've done that already. Let's see if Data can take a sample when
I
they're
see
not
no
in.
way of
Yeah, we
using this
can.
with that object.
I thought because they're out, maybe he could do it, but... Mr. Worf, see if you can collect up these field units. Get A first, right? Get B, and C. Excellent. Right, it's a little quieter in here. Mr. Data, let's try all the names on this list and see if we can get anybody else. Consultant
Open a
Lydia,
channel to
Idia,
Consultant
whatever.
Idia.
Channels to Consultant Idia are closed at this time.
At this time, which means that they will be open at some point. Healer
Open a
Zolax.
channel to Healer Zolas.
Channels to Healer Zolas are closed at this time.
It's all changed.
Open a channel to Tiller Miveat.
Channels to Tiller Mivet are closed indefinitely.
Indefinitely. Okay, he's or she is done. So let's go. Is there anything we're missing first? One last scan. No, the points. We got all this. Can we walk here? No. Okay, let's head back to the big ape and see what she has to say about all of this. Constable Lixie's office. Let's get up there and give her a banana. Alright. Mr. Data, she'll probably talk to you. Counselor Troy, I want you backing him up, just in case. Captain, you stay well back. And Worf, pretend like you're able to defend anybody. Okay, Data. Let's give it a go.
Has there been any contact with Dr. Hun Forsch?
No, I'm afraid not.
That's it. Data presser. With Dr. Humfor, yeah.
Constable, I would like to know why Dr. Hun Forsch accused you of smuggling.
She found a Romulan creature, which is, of course, banned from import by Federation law. It was tagged as a similar legal species. She has accused me of smuggling it in order to damage our chances for Federation membership.
How do you explain the mistagged animal?
I blame our supplier, Eramet. He's rude, devious, and barely competent. If I'd known Eramet was a Ferengi, I'd never have listened to Idia's recommendation. But the contract is binding, and he does deliver on time.
Power outages. Yeah, I want to know this one first.
Why do you oppose Federation membership?
Membership in the Federation would compromise Marasia's freedom of action. Some of us would rather not see that happen.
Yeah, in other words, you'd lose your matriarchy.
Constable, I understand the Preserve has been experiencing some unusual power outages.
Those were just a few temperamental generators failing. They've been repaired. Is the Federation now concerned with our internal technical difficulties as well?
I appreciate your candor.
You impress me, Commander. It's strange that your creator can find you in the male form. Still, you compensate well.
I believe the Constable. She seems genuinely devoted to the Preserve, and I don't think she would resort to smuggling, even to thwart Federation membership.
Just as well we didn't bring phasers. Now, where do we go from here? Picard. Let's find out what your crew thinks.
The doctor's disappearance may be related to her research. Perhaps we should examine her laboratory.
I'd like to see what Dr. Hun Forsch was doing in her lab before she disappeared.
We should search for Dr. Hun Forsch's lab.
Well, we were already there, folks, but let's head back. Wait a minute. Yeah, let's do the... Boy, we got the power thing. We can use the thingy computer thingies. And then we'll use these field thingies to go out and get the jib-jabby stuff. And then use this thingy to take the the DNA stuffies out of this thingy, and then, yeah, I think that's what we have to do. We should have brought Geordie LaForge, not this big Klingon. Alright. Data, pop it in there.
This is a topographical map of the biotope. The main habitats are the caverns, the pit, and the crater.
Okay. Great. Now, Field Unit D, Field Unit B. Let's use Field Unit A. Caverns. Oh, it worked. Maybe there's something down there as well, isn't there? Just the caverns, that's it. Nothing else. Oh, and the pit. Anywhere else? The crater. So the pit and the crater. I'm not sure if these field units are biome specific or not. I don't think they would be, but right, A. Grab A. Where's B? We'll send it out to the pit.
The field unit is stalled. It is not configured for this biotope.
Ah, okay. Excellent. Okay, right, so field unit A. Use bioprobe in field unit A. Oh, smoking. Field unit A. I don't know how many of these things does it go more. I must do, because we've got arrows here, so use field unit A on the pit. That was a lucky hit, that was, using the A. I just thought it would be A because it was first on our little roster here. Wish they had made these things a little faster, huh? Well, I hope that attention span thing is working out for all you guys, but trust me, I kind of like this. This used to make you wait for satisfaction. You know, it's something that companies are really afraid to do nowadays. All people in the creative medias. Right, we put that there. Put this there.
There is no sample in this field unit.
Oh,
if there were, we could extract it with a bioprobe.
And put that there.
I see no way of using this with that object.
I don't really want to. Where's A? Just send A out to the crater. I won't make. Can I put that down?
I see no way of using this with that object.
Can't drop items. That doesn't matter. We'll just get this, then we'll take it out, and then we'll go back to the lab, and we'll run it through the sample analyzer that I seen in there. I believe that there's some shenanigans afoot. Mistagged animals, funky goings on with the... look, surely you can't have a misandrous society in the Federation. Surely not. Okay, Data, gather. Field Unit A. Take a D take. Okay, boom. Right, everybody, there's nowhere else. There's the crater, the pit, and the caverns. What about down here? That looks like it should be something. The pit.
According to the kiosk map, the crater is home to 229 plant, insect, and small reptile species. According to the kiosk map, the pit contains a significant amount of water, despite the arid climate.
Intriguing.
According to the kiosk map, the caverns are home to 568 plant and animal species.
Okay, Data, let's take the power thingy. And we'll head back to the lab, everybody. No one's walking.
It is a skull. Nice touch.
What do you got? Okay, head to the laboratory. We're gonna go in and check some samples. Hopefully that will crack the mystery. Remember I was a kid playing this. I think it was about 13 maybe. Maybe younger, I can't remember. It was a very long time ago now. But I used to always want to go on away team missions. I used to always visualize the Enterprise parked in orbit and we beam down. I'd go to the beach or something or walk in a forest. Sad, I know. Worf, get your A down here, and Counselor, come over here where we can stand beside Data. Alright. Now Data, take... We're using sonic scope. Can I put it in here? Right, let's... Against your... Oh,
Serial
sweet.
diagnostic tests and cell density analysis complete. Subject's genetic signature differs from its identification tag.
Okay. More shenanigans afoot.
Serial diagnostic tests and cell density analysis complete. Subject's neural pathways have been drained of electrical energy.
More vampirism. Mental vampires, there's a lot of those around these days.
Serial diagnostic tests and cell density analysis complete. Subject's neural pathways have been drained of electrical energy.
Okay. Sounding like we've got some kind of...
I see no way of using this with that object.
Yeah. Can't move these things around, can I? Right. Field Unit A is no longer required. Is there any way I can, like, ditch these, kick these out or anything now?
I see no way of using this with that object.
Or jam it up, Mr. Worf's badonk-donk.
I see no way of using this with that object.
I can't move it, so... Ada, let's talk to somebody, anybody. Let's try Tracker
Open a channel
Melas
to
again.
Tracker Melas.
Channels open.
Has Dr. Hun Forsch contacted you?
No, I still have no scent of her. But I feel she will return soon enough.
I have some questions regarding several animal carcasses which we found in the doctor's laboratory.
Of course.
Dr. Hun Forsch was examining these carcasses for a reason. I suggest we perform biological and sonic scans on the carcasses ourselves.
I wish you well on your search.
That's it.
Open a channel to Grower Inongo.
Channels to Grower Inongo are closed indefinitely.
Open a channel to Tiller Miveat.
Channels to Tiller Mivate are closed indefinitely.
Okay, Captain Picard.
Dr. Hun Forsch was examining these carcasses for a reason. I suggest we perform biological and sonic scans on the carcasses ourselves.
Okay, can we use a thingy?
I cannot use this with that.
Okay, not gonna work. Let's go and talk to El Ape again. King Kong. Let's head to King Kong data follow, will you? Really brings me back, everyone. Let's stick it to her data. You can take her, easy. Right.
Has there been any contact with Dr. Hun Forsch?
No, I'm afraid not.
That's it. Counselor, can you get anything out of her?
Has anyone heard from Dr. Hun Forsch?
No, I'm afraid not.
No, she's shutting down. There's nothing there. Okay. Captain, what do you think?
Let's take a look at Dr. Hun Forsch's lab.
Oh, come on.
We'll come back here later.
Bog forest trope, marine biotrope, taupe. Walk to quarantine shelter. Oh yeah, okay. Bog forest taupe. Bog forest biotope. Well, everybody knows I can't read now. Wonderful. Okay, Mr. Data. Take the old schmeg head and stick it in there.
This is a topographical map of the biotope. The main habitats are the 4 tunnels within that petrified tree.
Petrified tree. Okay, let's take greater.
This is a topographical map of the biotope.
Okay,
the main
that's
habitats
yeah.
are
Okay,
the 4
Data.
tunnels within that petrified tree. According to the kiosk map, the series of tunnels is home to 437 plant and animal species.
Okay, now we just have to see which one is which. B? I'm gonna go with B. Tunnel 1. Now, it'll get halfway and turn back if it's the wrong one. From what we've just seen in the last one. Going all the way, it's going all the way. Go on, you good thing. It didn't seem to do anything there. I hope it worked. Okay, Data. Everybody else kind of was like a fifth wheel. We got one. B. So that's tunnel 1, tunnel 2 should be here. Yeah, go for it. So I hope you guys are enjoying this series. I certainly am. It's given me all my old feelings of Christmas time and youth. And the perception of a bright and infinite future. That's the intent of these videos. As well as the technical challenges of figuring out how to do it. It's funny because I've been doing this, as I said, for about 30 years. Or no, 3. Is there a 4th tunnel? Or there's only 3. Alright, I think there's only 3. Looks like there's 4 there. But I've been doing this for 30 years, as I've explained before. No, I don't play it every year or anything like that. It's just... I've always thought about it. I've always remembered it and wanted to complete it. But I recently in my life went back and completed an honours degree in animation for myself, because I dropped out of college 20 years ago. Would be more than that now because it's all over and done with. But on the 20-year anniversary of me dropping out of college, I went back and completed 2-3 years of college and got my honours degree and aced it, kind of to tie the loop. And I was back in college in '99, so you know that'll give you a little clue as to how old I am. And now I'm closing up loops. Like, I got my driver's license, started driving years ago. I did that in 2014. And now I'm kind of, given what's going on in the world, I'm thinking of just tying all this stuff up. I need to know how this game ends now, because I don't want to die and not know. That's how old I am now. You're starting to think, shit, will I really go to my grave? And I don't... last time when I was playing this all of my life, but back in the past when I started, there was no internet. You couldn't go on and look up the answers. That didn't happen. You had to figure all this stuff out for yourself, including how to run it. And thanks to, I forget your name, brother, but somebody left a comment in the first video. It was a sound issue. I'd forgotten all about that. It was the sound. The sound blaster cards wouldn't work because it used to be before plug and play. And so I would get it running back in the day on MS-DOS, but there'd be no sound. And I remember when I figured it out and I got it working, I was like, ah! Long time coming. And no help. Had to figure it all out for yourself. They're used to do that nowadays. Okay, let's go. And not just playing this game. I'm just playing it. Like, maybe that's a lot to do with it, because why these games are so much better than new games like that were made for ADHD folk. It's because back then there was mystery. And there was a sense of accomplishment when you figured it out. And you didn't figure it out right away. There was a long time involved there. A lot of patience. A lot of discipline. I'm going to leave you out there, Worf. Stay in your hole, right? I love you, Worf, but, you know. Where are we gonna... Yeah, okay. Data. Let's go.
Seriodiagnostic tests and cell density analysis complete. Subject's neural pathways have been drained of electrical energy.
Brilliant. Okay, that's another vampire. More vampire evidence.
Seriodiagnostic tests and cell density analysis complete. Subject contains high ionic residue and trace amounts of neural tranquilizers. Originating creature may consume energy.
Oh, okay. We may have found our vampire.
Seriodiagnostic tests and cell density analysis complete. Subject's neural pathways have been drained of electrical energy.
Okay, the picture is forming. Can we talk to anybody on this thingy yet? Grower and Ongo.
Channel to Grower and Ongo.
Channels to Grower and Ongo are closed indefinitely.
Open a channel to Tracker Melas.
Channels open.
I have some questions regarding several animal carcasses which we found in the doctor's laboratory.
Of course.
Dr. Hunforsch was examining these carcasses for a reason.
Come on, Data, we have
I
new
suggest we
evidence.
perform
You're
biological
gonna
and
bring it up.
sonic scans on the carcasses ourselves.
I wish you well on your search.
Okay, she's next to useless. Consultant
Open the channel to
idiot.
Consultant Idia.
Channels to Consultant Idia are closed at this time.
Consultant idiot. Okay, Healer Zolas.
Open a channel to Healer Zolas.
Channels to Healer Zolas are closed at this time.
Last but not least.
Open a channel to Tiller Miveat.
Channels to Tiller Mivate are closed indefinitely.
Okay, right. No point in doing anything else until we, Son of a... what was the table for? We don't have to do it twice, do we? That would suck the brown now. Because this is A, B, and C is the other one. This is C, the marine. The hollow table. Maybe you put the bodies. Maybe that's what it is. Put the bodies on the hollow table. Maybe that will give us some more information. Yeah. Let's power this thing up. Let's get going, Data.
This is a topographical map of the biotope. The
Testicle
main
field.
habitats are within the jelly corals and the water. According to the kiosk map, the population within the living jelly corals is constantly in flux. This is part of the surveillance system monitoring distress calls in the preserve. The antennae trigger informational displays of various species.
Okay, where do I send the stuff, Data? Do I have to do each of these? It's four of them. 1, 2, 3, and 4. We're talking about Z here, aren't we? This one might be a little longer than usual. Like, I'd like to keep them down under an hour, but I don't think that's gonna happen, and I don't want to cut them up, and I think that's very new agey. Not interested in that, really. Okay, C. A lot of the hit on this game itself is the nostalgia factor and the feeling you get when you're a Gen Xer and you go back to these times when we had the best of both worlds, both the analog and digital worlds. It was a truly magical time. Kind of feel sorry for the kids these days. It's not their fault, it's millennials' fault. Now, take that, and take this, and boom. Alright, let's send it over here. Anyway, boys, let's have a convo.
We should search for Dr. Hunforsch's lab.
No, we found the lab wharf, okay?
I'd like to see what Dr. Hyun Forsch was doing in her lab before she disappeared.
Yeah. You try, and try again. Right there, go bag that thingy. Then use this thingy on that thingy. Now we've got one more to go. grab that thingy. And grab this thingy and put it on that thingy. Okay, that's us here. Now grab the power station. I'm pretty sure there's nothing else out there. That was 4, so we'll grab this power thingy. Let's head back to the lab. The lab that we already found, Worf. Look at the magic you can create just from this. Like, I throw together something like this in about 5 minutes. And yeah, it's got presence and depth to it, and makes me feel like this is a whole world right there. God, I get misty when I drink wine. Right, let's go. Right, Counselor. I want you down here. Worf, stay where you are. I want you down here. Captain Picard, I want you here. I want you to take that kind of bar. Right. And I want you to put it on the bio table. That's what we should have done.
Subject is marked as a Frednorian born. Probable cause of death is malnutrition.
Malnutrition. Data. Take that. And put it back here. I knew I forgot to do this. This is one of the big things. I remember thinking, the hollow table, don't forget to do that. And I just got, you know, nose blind.
Subject is marked as a myocardial mole. Probable cause of death is neural energy loss.
Data, place that back here,
I
and I
see
want.
no way of using this with that object.
I'm not asking to mate
I
them,
see
Data.
no way of
Data,
using
come
this
on
with
now,
that
come on,
object.
Data. Right now, we take the baboon, and we bring the baboon, and we
Subject is marked as a Kujan gibbon. Probable cause of death is massive infection by Naturov parasite. This parasite is not native to the Kujan's habitat.
Interesting. Now we have a lot of information here now. Something is going on. Do you still
I'd
say
like
the
to
same stuff?
contact Tracker Malus.
Ah.
She may have been the last person to see the doctor.
Tracker Malus did see Dr. Hun Forsch recently, and she was also mentioned in the doctor's computer records. I think we should talk to Malus.
Captain, I think you should. Right, Data, you over there.
Open a channel to Tracker Malus.
Channels open.
I'm Captain Jean-Luc Picard of the Federation Starship Enterprise. We have come to investigate the disappearance of Dr. Hun Forsch.
She is in no danger, I'm sure. Tell me, would you be interested in helping me with some tests? I'm studying the effects of reduced oxygen and low light conditions on various species, and we get so few human visitors here.
Perhaps you would like to discuss Dr. Hun Forsch's disappearance first.
I'm sure your superiors can discuss any concerns with me. The test won't take long, perhaps 2 days. I have an underground cavern where you'll be fully supplied with liverworms and other nutritious foods
Sounds
while
great.
you're being tested.
A most tempting offer, but I must regretfully refuse, if you will excuse me.
Please tell me if you change your mind.
Captain, it's been completely pointless having you here. Everybody's just ignoring you, mate. Or giving you the runaround. Counselor, let's see if you have any...
Open the channel to Tiller Meveit.
Channels to Tiller Meveit are closed indefinitely.
We'll see if you have better luck with Tracker
Open the
Melas.
channel to Tracker Melas.
Channels open.
We still haven't found Dr. Hyun Forsh. Has she contacted you?
No, I still have no scent of her, but I feel she will return soon enough.
Okay.
I have some questions about several carcasses we found in the doctor's lab.
Of course.
Ooh, okay. This should have been Commander Data's thing. Well, I guess it's you, Counselor.
We found a Frednorian boar which had died of malnutrition. How might that have happened?
Hard to say. The Watchers are quite good. I can't imagine they'd just let this happen. Maybe they were given the wrong care instructions. Or maybe the animal was not identified correctly.
We found a Kujon gibbon, which died from an alien parasitic infection. How might that have happened?
I don't know. The Watchers are the ones who care for the animals. Maybe they can help you.
We found a mole-like creature whose neural pathways were drained of energy.
It's probably a Myocordae mole. They're quite common on Marasia, but I've never heard of one dying like this before.
Are there any animals in the preserve that feed on Myocordae energy?
None that I know of. Perhaps the Myocordae got caught in one of the generator power surges, but then it wouldn't be drained of energy. I don't know.
Thank you for your time.
I wish you well on your search.
Well, what should we do now, Captain?
It's time we spoke with Dr. Idia.
Oh, okay. Counselor. Step aside. Good job. Good job, Counselor. Very impressed.
Open the channel to Consultant Idia.
Channels open.
I'm Lieutenant Commander Data of the Starship Enterprise. I'm investigating the absence of Dr. Hyun Forsh.
As I told Constable Lixie, I don't know where she is. Must you interrupt my research with more pointless questions?
I'm afraid so. According to the Constable's report, you are the Preserve's consultant.
Yes, I help select and verify preserved species in the biotopes. The Marassians wanted a Federation expert, despite Lixie's objections. They were lucky to get me.
You were the last to see Dr. Hyun Forsh before her disappearance?
As far as I know, that's not a crime.
Well, maybe. Constable Lixie mentioned... Yeah.
Constable Lixie mentioned that you recommended the Ferengi trader Aramut for the second shipment.
He delivers what you want on time. The constable gave me hell when she found out that he was a Ferengi. She barely tolerates me because I'm a male.
Yeah, she's pretty, intolerant. I have some questions regarding several,
I have some questions regarding several animal carcasses which we found in the doctor's laboratory.
Animal carcasses in an exobiology lab? Well, that's certainly unusual.
A creature tagged as a Frednorian boar apparently died of starvation. Do you know how this could have occurred?
Sounds like incompetence to me. The Watchers blindly follow whatever care instructions they're given. No personal initiative at all.
The boar's identity tag is incorrect. It is actually an Akana boar, a close genetic relative of the Frednorian. However, Akana are banned for import. How did this animal get into the preserve?
It must have been smuggled in. You know, the Watchers have requested restricted species before and were denied. Dr. Hyun Forsh must have found out about it.
Consultant, I am puzzled. Since you verify preserved species, you must have known this was an Akana. Why did you not report the misidentification?
I didn't want to. I wanted the chance to study it. It was a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. Who am I to deprive science of my brilliant research on such a specimen?
Did the doctor confront any of the Watchers with her suspicions?
I think that's why she's missing. When she confronted them with the Akana, they must have stunned her. Those stunners don't trigger the surveillance system, so nobody knows about it.
Why would the Watchers resort to smuggling?
They're fanatics out to save the endangered creatures of the universe. I've suspected them all along, especially when I discovered this mistagging. You see, these tags can only be reprogrammed by a Watcher.
A creature tagged as a Kujan gibbon died of a parasitic infection not found in its native habitat. How could this have occurred?
I'd say it died of neglect. Those Watchers don't know the first thing about dealing with animals. They're not scientists. They're glorified zookeepers. Why don't you go ask them about it?
A mycorrhizae mole.
A mycorrhizae mole experienced an electrical drain from its neural pathways. How could this have occurred?
I'd say it died of neglect. Those Watchers don't know the first thing about dealing with animals. They're not scientists. They're glorified zookeepers. Why don't you go ask them
See
about
what scientists
it?
do when they're given the free rein, huh? I'd like to know what you and the doctor discussed.
I'd like to know what you and the doctor discussed.
When I saw her for supper the other day, she was talking about genetic samples from the last shipment. She knows I don't like to hear people talk while I eat, so she said little else.
But Dr. Hoon Forsch was cataloging Morassian species exclusively. Why would she want genetic samples from other animals in the preserve?
I don't concern myself with the lab work of junior scientists. Now, do you mind? I have important research to conduct.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you for wasting it.
Idia's accusation that the Watchers are fanatics is certainly plausible. Collectors can be quite zealous in their pursuit of rare specimens.
Idia certainly has a high opinion of himself.
Yeah.
The thing he seemed most interested in was his reputation.
Sounds like a man with something to hide, Counselor. Although you'd know all about that, wouldn't you?
A sonic scan might help us interpret these samples.
Yeah, you read my mind. Data! Make it so.
Seriodiagnostic tests and cell density analysis complete.
Garden data, kissing.
All readings are normal.
Ah, Mr. Worf, I'm joking. I forgot about you. Come on down. Join the party. Sorry about that, dude.
Seriodiagnostic tests and cell density analysis complete. All readings are normal.
Finally, we got one.
Seriodiagnostic tests and cell density analysis complete. Subject's genetic signature differs from its identification
Once
tag.
again, we have a mismatch. Somebody's up to no good.
Seriodiagnostic tests and cell density analysis complete. All readings are normal.
Another normal. The new normal? Okay, we've done this. We've done the sonic scans.
I'd like to contact Healer Zolis.
Okay, Healer Zolis. Want data? Get your big egg head up there.
Open a channel to Healer Zolis.
Channels open.
I'm Lieutenant Commander Data of the Starship Enterprise.
A baboon.
I'm investigating the absence of Dr. Hoon Forsch.
A Starfleet officer. I was expecting this.
Tracker Melas indicated that you knew of a confrontation between Dr. Hoon Forsch and the Constable.
Yes, the doctor mentioned it when she asked about Aramet. He's a Ferengi who provides us with alien species for the preserve.
Was she inquiring about mistagged animals from his shipment?
Yes, she had spoken to Zudan, one of the 3 Watchers in charge of the last shipment. He told her to talk to Aramet.
On several occasions, the Watchers were... Oh, yeah, okay.
On several occasions, the Watchers requested restricted species and were denied. Is it possible that Aramet was secretly supplying the Watchers with illegal species?
Aramet has a rather unsavory reputation. The Watchers wouldn't have anything to do with someone like that. But you can ask Zudan yourself.
Did Consultant Idia know of Aramet's reputation when he recommended him for a traitor?
Considering how long Idia and Aramet have known each other, I would think so. Those two go back quite a while. I think Idia even came here on Aramit's ship.
Did the other Watchers also tell her to speak to Aramut?
Did the other Watchers also tell her to speak to Aramut?
I doubt it. The other Watchers were at the quarantine shelter and suffered some kind of neural energy drain when the generators exploded. They've been comatose ever since. Zudan's the only Watcher on duty now.
We have found several animals which suffered energy drains. Perhaps we could compare neuroscans to see if the injuries are similar.
I'll send you the Watcher's neuroscans. You can view them on the bio table, but I recommend you speak to Watcher Zudan. You can find him at the quarantine shelter.
Thank you for your time.
Certainly. Good luck to you.
So Idia knows this Aramut. His accusations regarding the Watchers may be a diversion.
Idia was the last to see Dr. Hunforsh before she disappeared. Idia is friends with a Ferengi, and Ferengi traders are not known for their honor. Perhaps Idia is guilty.
The Watchers suffered an electrical energy drain from their neural pathways, like the Myochordae mole.
Brain vampire. We were right. I wish we had our phasers, everyone. We're gonna have to use our wits. Even better weapon. Okay, that one has gone on a lot longer than the other one, than normal. So, I'm gonna leave it there. Okay, we've gone way over. I might actually... No, I won't break it up. I'll put it up as is. But I'll record the next one tomorrow. I'll upload this one tomorrow. You know, and you know, you'll see me there. And I hope you come back and you watch this whole thing, and then come back for the 4th installment. Yeah, 4th installment. We're number 4. So this is the end of part 3. Once again, thank you for joining me. I appreciate your company on this adventure here, this log for the future, for all time. I hope you've had a good time, and I hope I've provided some kind of company for you, some kind of distraction. As always, I'm your friend, the Duke. Shalom Lat, Gurev Mahagut, Agus Pog Mahone. I will see you in part 4 tomorrow. God bless. Mm-hmm.